my name is Ms. Nelson and welcome to Subnotes. In today's lesson, we will be exploring figure drawing, going over how the human form has been captured in art and how we can use techniques to portray accurate proportions. After a brief overview of the history of figure drawing in art, we will move into practice sketches that grasp the basics of proportion and experiment with oil pastels. By the end of this lesson, we'll use a figure mannequin to complete a comprehensive project that brings all of these elements together. After this session, you'll be equipped to analyze figures with a keen eye for perspective and proportion, creating stunning works that showcase your mastery of drawing techniques and oil pastels. The materials needed for today's lesson are a pencil and eraser, a pack of oil pastels, and a piece of toned paper. Let's roll. Throughout history, the human form has been a central subject in art, symbolizing beauty, power, and the complexities of the human experience. In ancient Greece, artists like Myron and Phidias created sculptures such as the discus thrower and Athena Parthenos, exemplifying idealized human form and the inclusion of objects and attire that symbolize power. During the Renaissance, artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo brought a renewed focus on anatomical accuracy and expressive realism, as seen in works like The Vitruvian Man and Pieta. Moving into the 20th century, artists such as Pablo Picasso and Gustav Klimt began to deconstruct and abstract the human form, challenging traditional perceptions and introducing new ways to interpret the body in works like Girl Before a Mirror and The Kiss. These transformations highlight the evolving dialogue between art and the human figure, reflecting changes in cultural, philosophical, and aesthetic values over time. Understanding the human form starts with breaking it down into basic shapes and lines. This approach helps simplify proportions and poses, making it easier to draw accurately. These shapes align with the elements and principles of design, such as balance, proportion, and harmony, allowing artists to create well-composed figures. By focusing on these fundamentals, you can better capture the essence of the human body in your artwork. With that being said, let's dive into a few practice sketches that can help you identify these shapes. Make sure you have a pencil and eraser and your toned sheet of paper handy for this portion. To give you a little bit of history, the wooden figure drawing mannequin, also known as a lay figure, has a rich history dating back to the Renaissance. Initially crafted from materials like wood and later wire, these mannequins were used by artists to study human anatomy and improve their figure drawing skills. By the 19th century, mannequins with adjustable joints became popular, allowing artists to pose them in various positions. These mannequins were essential tools in artist studios, helping to create more accurate and dynamic representations of the human form. Today we will be working with this figure, and I want you to take a moment and observe the mannequin. On one side of your paper, make a small note of what shapes you could use to break down this figure. There are a variety of ways that you could approach this using shapes. Typically, you begin with roughly sketching circles and lines at critical points of the figure, such as the head, torso, hips, and joints. From there, you can begin to add other dynamic shapes that better capture the true shape of the form, using rectangles, triangles, and ovals. On the same side of paper that you made note of the shapes, use the next 30 seconds to create a small sketch that mimics the use of shapes demonstrated in the image. Make sure to leave room on this side for a few more practice sketches. Awesome work. Now, using our application of shape to represent the previous mannequin, Let's take a look at another image where the mannequin is positioned in a more complex manner. Again, approach this figure with rough circles and lines to capture the essence of the figure, then move into adding more shapes that solidify the proportions. I'll give you 60 seconds to complete a small, quick sketch of this figure, much like the previous one. Well done! Now I'm going to give you a bit of a challenge. Here's a reference photo of not a mannequin, but a human. Using what you've learned about shape and line, I want you to take the next minute and try your best to sketch this figure. Don't go into details with the face or clothes. This should look like your previous mannequin drawings. Good! Your figure should look a little like this. Way to take on the challenge. Now let's move to a quick swatch test of our oil pastels. I want you to choose 3 colors from your oil pastel pack. It can be 3 warm or cool colors, but make sure you have a light, medium, and dark value. On the same side of your practice sketches, draw about a roughly 3-inch circle with your pencil. Begin at the center of your circle with the light value and move to your darker value at the edge of your circle. Blend the colors as you go to create an ombre effect. You can use your finger to blend as well. I'll give you the next minute to complete this. All right, I think we are ready to jump into the comprehensive project. By the end, your work should look a little bit like this. We will be using the wooden mannequin figure as a reference for our sketch. Then move into using oil pastels to add color and value to the form. I will provide a slideshow of 10 possible references for you to choose from. You should aim to capture at least half of your figure in the project. You'll begin to lightly sketch the figure using the methods discussed in this video, And once you are satisfied with the sketch, you will use the 3 oil pastels that you chose for your swatch and complete the work. Observe where the light is coming from in the reference image and use a lighter color for highlights and darker colors for shadows. This will all be done on the other side of your toned paper. Here are the references to choose from. You can pause the video to hold your place on the image that you choose. And that's a wrap on today's lesson on figure drawing. I hope you found value in learning how to capture the human form using simple shapes, and you are able to apply these techniques in future endeavors. Remember, getting the hang of perspective and proportion is key, so keep at it and let your creativity flow. Be sure to check in with your substitute teacher on procedures for turning in this assignment. Thank you, and see you next time.